All right, today we're going to unpack a really fascinating psychological tool. We're talking about how just one single, well-placed word can completely change what a person does next. And the crazy part? It's so subtle, most people will never, ever see it coming.
I mean, just think about it. What if you could use one word to gently guide a conversation or even a big decision without any pressure or arm twisting? It kind of sounds like a superpower, right? But it's a very real thing, and it all started with a pretty simple experiment.
To really get how this works, we have to jump in a time machine and go all the way back to 1973. There was a psychologist, Robert Kraut, who set up this amazing little experiment with charity donations, and honestly, the results were a total game changer.
The setup he used was just brilliant in its simplicity. So he split people up into two groups. Group A, they were just straight up asked to donate to a charity. Pretty simple. But Group B, well, they were also asked to donate, but with one tiny, tiny little tweak. Right before he asked, he told them they were generous. And that was it. That was the entire test. The big question was, could that one little sentence, that simple positive label, actually change how people behave? You know, it seems almost too small to matter, but that's exactly what Kraut wanted to find out. And the results? Whoa. They were absolutely staggering. The group that was just asked to donate, they gave a little, but look at that jump for Group B. The people who were first told they were generous ended up donating way more, and they donated more often. That one single word had a massive impact. Okay, so now we see what happened, but the real million-dollar question is why? What is going on inside our heads that makes a simple label so incredibly powerful? Let's get into the psychology of it all.
So this effect actually has a name. It's called social labeling, and it's pretty straightforward. When you give someone a positive label, calling them generous or fair or thoughtful, they feel this almost automatic urge to behave in a way that proves you right.
It really all boils down to this deep, deep human need for consistency. I mean, nobody wants to look like a hypocrite, right? So if someone just told you you're a generous person, saying no to a donation request, well, it creates this uncomfortable mental conflict. It just feels so much better to act in line with that positive image you've just been handed. Now, this is way more than just some cool experiment from the 70s. This exact principle becomes an unbelievably effective tool out here in the real world, especially in high-stakes situations, like a negotiation. Yeah, in pretty much any kind of negotiation or even just a tough conversation, social labeling can be this incredibly subtle and powerful way to encourage the exact behaviors you want to see from the other side, and you never have to demand a single thing. For example, just imagine saying this. By saying, "I know you're someone who's fair," you're not asking them to be fair. You're actually stating it as if it's already a part of their character. This makes it so much harder for them to turn around and propose a totally unfair deal, because it would directly contradict that positive label you just gave them.
Or here's another great one, works the same way. Saying something like, "You always look for balanced solutions," well, that primes the other person to actually start looking for common ground. You're setting the stage for collaboration, not for a fight.
So we've covered the history, the psychology, and how you can use this today. But this all brings us to the big takeaway and a really important question about where the line is. The real power here is how subtle it is. There are no aggressive tactics, none at all. Instead of trying to force an outcome, you're encouraging the better side of someone's nature just by assuming it's already there. It's really just the power of words, used wisely. Which brings us to the final question I want to leave you with. Where do you draw the line between just smart psychology and subtle manipulation? Are you empowering someone by appealing to their best self, or are you just guiding them to a decision that benefits you? The power is very real. How it gets used, well, that's up to you.